outlining the biggest weight loss mistakes that I've made and that you're probably making too. Some of these mistakes people make very, very early in their journey, but no matter where you are in your journey, these can all be pretty damaging. But with so many of you determined to lose weight and keep it off this year, this video is going to help you avoid the traps that I fell into years ago and hopefully get you one step closer to reaching your dream physique. So these are the categories. We have common. These are things that you've probably heard before, but you're probably just not doing, or maybe you just need a little reminder. Uncommon, mistakes that are overlooked but can still impact your progress. Rare, tips that aren't talked about enough but can significantly affect your results. And unconventional, mistakes that are never discussed. Mistake number 1, not knowing how much weight you want to lose. This can be dangerous as this kept me overweight for years. Without a clear goal in mind, it is very hard for you to stay consistent with your goals, as you never know when the grind and when the effort is going to end. And this lack of direction can often do more harm than good. Similarly, we have mistake number 2, having no time frame. If you don't set a date for your weight loss, it can create a lack of urgency. Without urgency, some people, maybe you, are not going to take your weight loss journey as seriously as you should be. And let's be real, dieting and losing weight forever just isn't sustainable. In fact, it is one of the worst ways that you could lose weight, as you're just stuck in a never-ending cycle. So my advice would be to break your weight loss down into 6 to 12 week blocks. Next, not having a workout program. Just trying to lose weight is one of the quickest ways to end up absolutely hating the way you look. If we only focus on weight loss, we can end up becoming skinny fat, which is not the goal. What we actually want is fat loss. And one of the best ways to avoid that skinny fat phase is by lifting weights so you can put on some muscle and build an aesthetic physique. And you don't need anything complex. A simple push-pull leg split is going to work just fine for most beginners starting out. Just make sure that you are training to failure, you're performing the exercises with good form, and you're hitting your protein. Now moving on to the uncommon mistakes. Cheers. Starting with number 4, we have not weighing your food. Put it this way, if you don't weigh your food, you have no idea how much you're actually eating. And no, you cannot guess. I tried that and I went from this over to this. Notice the difference? No, that's because it didn't work. And an even worse mistake that people are making to this day is not tracking their calories. Oh my gosh. Okay. Without doing this, there is no way that you can accurately monitor your calorie intake over an extended period of time. Sure, not tracking your calories, it may work for a week or two, but it can cause major problems down the line. Because when you stop losing weight, what are you going to do? You won't have any reference point to know how much you should decrease your food or maybe how much you should increase your exercise. And this is where people end up starving themselves because they have no idea how many calories to cut. They start eating the bare minimum. They stop losing weight and then they get stuck in the yo-yo dieting cycle. So to avoid being one of those people, track your calories. Now, something that does make calorie counting a hell of a lot easier is knowing what food you should be eating and how many calories are in that food. And one thing that I really needed when I was losing weight is a resource that would outline all of this for me. But this is something that I didn't have when I started, but now you do, as my low calorie swap list is now available and it contains every single swap that I made to lose over 50 pounds with the calories listed for every single item. Plus there's some meal ideas that I still use today to, maintain my weight loss. And most importantly, there is a starter activity. So the minute that you download this resource, you're going to be able to start using this swap list straight away. You can take it to the grocery store, you can screenshot the relevant pages. You have everything that you need right at your fingertips. Something that I didn't have and that I wish I had, but now you do. And the best part is that this resource is evergreen. Once you get it, you can use it and stay in shape forever. You have it at your use and your disposal whenever you need it. So if that interests you at all, the link will be in the pinned comment. Okay, I think it is time for a quick fire round. Mistake 6, not meal prepping. Meal prepping saves you time. It keeps you consistent. It saves you from washing up. So there is literally no need to not do it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Next, not eating enough protein. Just like working out, you need protein to build muscle. No muscle is going to grow if you don't provide it with the right fuel. Around 1 gram per pound of body weight is worked just fine for me. But something that you are not going to forgive yourself for is making any of these mistakes that are in the rare category. And remember, not a lot of people online are saying these things, so really pay attention here. Mistake 9 is not getting enough sleep. Now, we all know that we need good sleep in order for us to lose weight. But when you understand why, it becomes becomes that much more crucial. Ever wake up feeling insanely hungry? No matter how much you eat, you still think that you are starving. That's because that lack of sleep that you got the night before increased the hunger hormone. Basically, just to get back to normal, you're going to want to get a good night's sleep. Now moving on to the unconventional category. These mistakes are arguably the most important, so be sure to avoid all of them at all costs. And that's using the mirror to measure your progress. Don't know where that came from. How many times have you looked in the mirror and it's completely ruined your mood? No matter what the scale or the progress pictures show you, you look in that mirror and you still think, oh, I still look fat. And the rest of your day is completely ruined. That was a good shot. It's happened to me many times. But the mirror is one of the worst ways to measure your progress because it is entirely subjective. Instead, start using objective-ish methods to start measuring your progress. So look at the scale weight, look at your body measurements using a tape measure, or try and see if your clothes are fitting a little bit better. Now, I'm not saying to never look in the mirror, but don't get too obsessed with it, because not seeing the progress that you think you should be making can be very discouraging. But what isn't so nice is mistake number 11, and that's failing to adapt to change. Unfortunately, many of you have a very distorted view of weight loss. Most people think it's a straight line, but in reality, it's quite the opposite. Weight loss involves a lot of trial and error, especially as your progress starts to slow down. So during these moments, it is crucial that you look back at what has worked and what has not. For example, adjusting your calorie intake, maybe increasing your cardio. You need to keep reassessing your approach to keep making progress. This is a skill that so many people possess nowadays. However, if you can do this, you'll increase your chances of not only losing weight, but keeping it off for a significant period of time. And this next mistake is truly one that nobody is talking about. And frankly, I got no idea why. Because if you can learn this slight shift in perspective, this is what's going to separate the 10% who lose weight and keep it off from the 90 who don't. But mistake 12 is focusing on the when. We often get stuck asking, when am I going to lose weight? When am I going to get a six pack? When am I going to become more attractive? But now you are focusing on the wrong things. The number one reason why I started my journey and why you should be starting yours is ultimately for your health. The minute that you stop focusing on the when, that's when you're going to see real change, and that's when weight loss gets easy. And that happens when you're on autopilot. I'm not saying that weight loss is suddenly going to become 10 times easier, but I can guarantee that it will be a lot more manageable if you stop obsessing over the when. And one way to make your weight loss more manageable is to simplify the entire process. And if you want to learn how to do that, I would watch this.